Hey folks, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. So I wanted to make a quick video to help you guys out and respond to a little bit of feedback. A lot of you folks wrote in saying loving the Docker coverage, very interested in using it at my organization, but we are a Apple shop, right? You guys are Macs, and you feel like Docker is pretty Linuxy, pretty servery. How do I work locally with Docker? So my goal here is to, in under 5 minutes, install Docker for Mac. If you can see my screen, I'm showing you the Docker homepage for Docker. We're going to install the Community Edition on my, 2-week-old MacBook Pro. So let's do it. All right, clock's ticking. 5 minutes right here. Mickey Mouse watch. It's going to get me. All right, so we're going to scroll down. Notice all the lovely download links. We're going to click download. We're going to click download twice because we got to do that. You gotta click twice. We're going to wait for it to download as YouTube is currently pegging my bandwidth. Thank you very much, Verizon Fios. You know what? I'm still confident, even with the download lag, that we're gonna. Oh, there we go. See, I'm telling you, this is easy. So we're gonna click the DMG. That's right, you Mac guys. It's just a DMG. Oh, wait, it's important that you see this. Ready? Let's bring it over to your screen. We are going to drag and drop this cute little whale over to your applications folder. All right, there you go. You can tell it's a new Mac, by the way, because GarageBand is still installed. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to type Docker. I know you can only see part of that. It's an application we open from the internet. We get a challenge. We hit OK. Notice up in the corner here, notice the little whale. Now it's starting. This is like any other Mac application you're used to running, right up top, right? And you now have Docker installed. That was maybe a minute and a half, with the majority of it being download time. Now let's talk about a few things on what we actually did here, right? Because I know this is a little cheeky of me to use the British expression. This is Docker for Mac, right? Docker Community Edition for Mac. There is another thing you could have installed called Docker Toolbox that is a bit more complex to install. It requires VirtualBox. It is slightly different. Now, if you already have that, this can coexist. But this application, Docker for Mac, is from Docker Inc. This is totally official. Just to quickly go through some of the differences there between Docker for Mac and Docker Toolbox. So Docker for Mac actually uses the hypervisor framework in macOS. Which was introduced in version 10.10, I believe, of Mac, or macOS, as we say these days. So that could be a snag for you if your shop isn't up to 10.10 or better, right? You're going to have to use the Docker Toolbox, which is a little more complicated. I would recommend internally the folks who are using macOS at Punkaneer are using this Docker for Mac, and we're all on the latest version of macOS. This is much simpler. This actually installs everything right in your applications directory for you, just like any other Mac application you've been used to, right? I know many of you are developers, use the Postgres, right? If you're web developers, if you're particularly Rails developers, there's Postgres.app, right? The Postgres Mac application that much like the stock wrap, same thing. It sets up all the command line Linuxy, although in this case it's Mac BSD stuff for you. Couple differences between Docker Toolbox. This actually, so you saw it loading when it installed. You saw the little boxes juggling on the whale there. It's actually installing a Linux VM called Alpine Linux. So instead of where Docker Toolbox would have installed VirtualBox, this is installing Alpine Linux as a VM for your containers to actually run on. Alpine Linux, if you're not familiar, is just an extremely light distribution of Linux, right? That's the whole idea here. It's not going to pollute your environment. It should be pretty non-intrusive to your system. If you come up here, there's a bunch of things you can change in your preferences, but if you're just getting started with Docker, you should change none of them. If your organization requires you to do backups, you can include the VMs and backups. That is something I've been hearing that folks are concerned about when working locally. Starting Docker when you log in, again, right? if that works for you. Proxies, if you have proxy issues at your enterprise, there you go. Little bomb, very cute icon for resetting the whole thing. Should it just, should it just kind of go to hell there? File sharing, general settings, nothing to worry about. Now, maybe you don't trust me, right? Maybe I'm a swarmy looking dude in a polo shirt, which, as we know, is the swarmy article of clothing choice of swarmy people. I don't know where I'm going with this. So we're going to run a command that, if it says nothing, means it is working. Ready? Those are my favorite type of commands. Okay, I cheated, so I already had it in the terminal buffer. Boom. Success. What that command would have done if I also had Docker Toolbox installed would actually print out the host and the IP for Docker Toolbox. That's fine. Again, right? If you are curious about running them side by side, you can actually check docker.com. They have a great doc on it. But notice I typed Docker, and I have me a man page because I typed in a command that didn't make sense. But there you go, right? We can check a couple things out here, right? We could, if we wanted to, we could go and straight up, create a machine. So we're good to go. So that's it. You now, or I now, and you can too, have Docker running on your Mac development environment. I still prefer to work in Ubuntu for development for Docker. I think it is closer to the production environments that I tend to deploy to, which I find is a value. But right now, I know many of you aren't in the enterprise and you are running Mac, so this is a perfectly valid option for you. If you're interested in learning more about Docker, go to buccaneer.io. I'm going to put a link in the description. We have a free guide on getting Docker running on Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7, which, again, based on your emails, is the most popular flavor of non-Ubuntu Linux you guys are running. So great. Have a great day, and I will hopefully talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.